So at the risk of sounding like a grumpy old guy, how many of you are old enough to remember buying a garden rake and it was always like, what, tin or aluminum, the flexible metal. And over time the tines, are they called tines? The grippy things, the fingers, the tines, would get all twisted up, but at least it would keep all of them. What's with plastic? So, how about that garden? I've mentioned it to you once or twice, but I haven't really spoken about it yet. It's been a couple of years that we've been growing food here at home, and it's actually been pretty good. We were worried, or I was worried, because the soil on this end of the yard is extremely clay intensive. It's practically all clay. So I've spent a couple of years like working mulch in and spreading some black earth in there and everything, but it's still really, it's clay, But anyway, it's been going really good. We've got some peppers growing over there. We got some cucumbers. I think there's some zucchinis over there, and we got tomato. Okay, here's a weird thing. The tomatoes were all planted right along the back wall. Okay, right along the garage wall. But we noticed last week that, like, there's tomatoes growing here in the middle of the carrots. There's tomatoes growing here in the middle of the beans. There's, And Mrs. Raindance thinks that maybe, like squirrels, maybe last year, we did find like a tomato with one bite out of it over there, and a tomato with one bite out of it over here and stuff, and maybe that's what's given us these plants. I also read online that sometimes tomato plants just migrate. I'm not the type who believes everything he reads online, so I don't really know what to think about that one. But no matter which it is, I have to move these tomato plants because they're choking out my carrots, they're choking out my beans, they're choking out whatever that thing is over there. So that's what I'm going to do today. Now, why I feel it's important to have a garden is it's a self-sufficiency thing. I'm not a massive prepper, as you guys know. I'm a bushcrafter, but where you could maybe make a case for me crossing over, not really, but some people see it that way, is it's always good to be growing at least some of your own food for several reasons. Yes, there's the, if the S ever hits the F, then it's great to have a little supply, but I also see it more as a way of dealing with these sometimes excessive prices you'll come across at the supermarket. So my philosophy on this is highly influenced by a book that I had put together for Reader's Digest when I was working there. And it talks about how the best things to put in your garden are the things that are extremely expensive at the store. Don't necessarily waste your time with lettuces. Well, we've got a bunch of lettuces, but it's because they're easy to grow, and it's great to just walk into your garden and take a few leaves. But if you're looking to actually save money, look at everything that's really expensive at the grocery store, and that's what you should be growing, provided it grows in your climate, of course. We're growing some tomatoes, a few other things. We got some chard over there. That's a stinking lie. We've got some kale over there. Now, for us, as with most people, it's all about fitting a garden where you can. So we live in a very urban environment. What we did last year was that semicircle over there is the wife's garden. The middle part here is mine, and then over here, the very end, is the squirtling's garden. That's Cody's garden over there. Now, here's the thing. This year, I didn't plant any of this. I was planning to plant, and the ladies were growing stuff indoors. I thought for their gardens, because last year I just threw the seeds in the ground and they grew up fine. And then I came home one day and they'd planted the whole thing. So I was like, okay, bonus. So the fact that it is verdant and full of carrots and stuff is not my work. I'm not going to take credit for work that's not mine, that's for sure. Anyways, I better get to work moving some of these things around. It's important that you don't let your crops crowd each other too much. It really has an effect on how much growing they do, I find. So every now and again, like if I've got my carrots all bunched together, I'll move them out so that they're a couple of inches apart, you know. These tomatoes, I'm definitely moving all of them to the back along the wall there. Like over there, we've got a little espalier action going on for the beans. I think we're growing mung beans, if I remember correctly. But anyways, I'm gonna get to work on this. You know what? Actually, I got a question. How many of you guys are growing your own food? And like, what's your philosophy on it? Or, you know, are you just growing stuff that, oh, I like this, I like that? Or are you doing it for economic benefit? Or are you preparing for when the for when the world ends? If you're not growing a garden, do you have little planters? Do you grow anything? Do you even, are you even interested? Definitely drop me a note in the comment section below. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe, share, give me a smiley thumb. If you don't like what I'm doing, give me a frowny thumb. Thanks for watching, guys.